Good morning, Dr. Brad. Good morning.
Morning, Curt. Oh, very good.
My cup is relatively clean, despite the fact that my sink has dirty dishes in it I have to wash.
I was just noting that mine is atrocious.
Yes, well, I'm not claiming anything special. It's just not horrible. Anyway, so this is Sunday, December 17th. This is Curt and Dr. Whirl. We are going over. I tend to have today as a working session, which means it could be boring. However, Brad is working on reading a book by E. Michael Jones called Logos Rising, which was published in 20, I think, if I remember correctly, 20 or 21.
Yeah, it was very recently.
And it's 20. So it's a very parallel evolution to our work from the I would argue, just as we're trying to finish the transition of philosophy into science, he's trying to transition the religion into philosophy. Is that a good way of framing it?
No, I would argue that he's tracing epistemology, a history of epistemology. And I just read the chapter that was distinguishing between why logos failed in Islam and China.
Ooh, fascinating.
Like I said, you'll be very interested by this book, man. I'm like,
so tell us.
Well, he's like, there's a basic heresy which the Catholics suppressed. The Islamics forbid the discussion of the three, which is the Trinity.
Okay.
And so they dismiss causality and stunted their capacity to have scientific endeavor, because the primacy of the clergy called fideism.
I have to go on this because I don't understand. I mean, I was raised and trained in the Trinity, but all right, so I know what it is, and
Yes.
I've had the dogma repeated, but
no, to me so I'm coming at it cold, and it's to understand what is being said and meaningfully, which is to say, it has to do with what's causality and what's the mover, and how do you explain changes in the world.
Okay, so so how does that end up with the Trinity?
Because the Trinity is logos, or God, the Word of God, and the Son of God, essentially.
Okay.
And the operations of the Creator in the creation is the natural order, the natural law,
okay,
which we can discern through rational interpretation, because we presume it to be rationally constructed.
all right. All right.
And it's like that. That failed in every other civilization.
So my confusion with logos and with the Trinity, despite being Catholic and going to Catholic school, is that I didn't translate them into the philosophical. I kept them in the religious.
Right. So he's doing a history. The history goes to the development of the logos as it evolves like a flower. It pops out in places with people for reasons. And so he's studying that and tracing the history. And that's what's interesting. It goes theological, philosophical, and then scientific now.
All right. So so China and Islam. You said they didn't go with causality. Is that what you said? It was
because it's like this. There's a construct of understanding of time in and progress, and it's like the failure to accept the Trinitarian doctrine fails to allow you to seek to find causality in the function of things, because it's God's will.
Okay. I'm going to say I don't get it.
That's all right. It's a worth read, man. It's like, it's hard to read.
Well,
It's like I'm stuck in medieval nonsense.
I have to science Trinity. What I think I can science the same thing, but I wouldn't use the Trinity Yet when you explain it, then I hear partly the science. So I'm sitting here saying, yeah, I just clearly don't understand this. Well, which will require that I'll read the book and get it from his perspective. So
There you go.
so anyway,
Here we are. Let's get
so
to
you're
work.
clearly charged. The point I wanted to get to is you're charged up about this book.
It's very interesting. Like I say, it's like any of his reads, E. Michael Jones takes you on a tour and you don't quite know where the bus is going to stop and what he's going to say about that house over there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's illuminating. It's because I'm learning about people and things that I had no awareness of. And so it's the birth of science. It was talking about Thomas Aquinas just a minute ago, and here we are now,
Now
ready to get to work.
So I have to. I tried to read it again last night and fell asleep. So It's a good book for helping me fall asleep. Which
Some
I'm sure
parts better than others, I'm sure.
I'm sure my work is good work for you to not be able to lose your ability to follow. And I think this work is a good book to fall asleep. But anyway, it's more that I'm tired. It has nothing to do with his book. I'm just being silly. All right. But you're quite moved by it because as we've gone, you read it chapter by chapter. You're quite enthused.
Animating because it's revealing subtle differences in epistemologic function. Like the part I just read, The Birth of Science, which is chapter 7, he discusses the split between the materialists and the theologians. So, and it's like he goes, that's an error, and it provided for the flourishing of logos through the empirical studies of the scientists. Okay, but there's an error involved in that,
Which is
an error of understanding of causality, and it's like, okay, so I'm still wrapping the story and getting there, and I'm like, okay, because we see this because there's a morality issue that's missing in empirical science because science failed to incorporate human nature.
Well,
until
I think
now.
the problem is science has the first problem. This is a great observation, Brett. That's a great observation. So science has the first problem of to produce science, you must eliminate human nature from it. Then once you have that science, you can then study human nature
So it
without.
requires this heretical function, which is
Yes.
doctrinal, and we agree. I think that's true because the church pushed back against the scientists so hard, and it's like because they want to maintain their preeminence.
Well, it's also science. I get with my arguments always like, why is the church worried about science unless they're trying to make scripture literal?
No, it's not that at all. And it's
What
like
is it?
one of the complaints, and I'll read it. It was spoken in about 13th century that there's certain inevitability to atheism. Oh, here's what he says. Okay, this is Scotus, Don Scotus, 1277 or something like that. He says, God becomes a thing, albeit a supreme thing among things in the world. Such a God is not only liable to appear incredible or unbelievable, a big thing that soon to become too obviously a projection of the ordinary things, but also as the world becomes more self-explanatory and self-evident, God becomes increasingly superfluous. In such a world, atheism almost becomes irresistible.
Well,
And that's written 700 years ago. And here we are.
well,
And it's right. It's true, and
it's sort of true, but the problem is religion a grammar which teaches you when you're only able to learn in that grammar. And you only need to obtain from that grammar what we call intuitions.
That's right.
So my view is that religion is training, not education.
We're not in argument.
Right. And so, so as you mature, you might make it to literature from religion. You might make it from literature to history. You might make it from history to science. And you might make it from science to logic.
Right.
And so you might make this evolution, but as long as the foundation is there of moral intuition about what's right and wrong, this is
what's true and not true.
What?
It's epistemological. So the argument by what you're saying is that Islam fails because the intuition is wrong about the way the world is put together.
Correct.
That's and I think that we're in agreement. I don't think that E. Michael Jones would disagree.
Well, I mean, the world Islam is heroin for them, is heroin. It makes you feel good because it deprives you of reason, and provides you with sedation by a lot of means. I mean, it's really good at it. That's the thing. But on the other hand, the externalities produced by it are horrific.
You agree.
So, I mean, whereas I have this problem, people call me I mean, no, I'm not. And I consider myself Christian, but I'm over here in the logic. I'm not back here in the parables. So to me, when you say, well, Christianity, I wouldn't say Christianity is true, but it's correct. Right? Right? Does that make sense? It's like true means it's testifiable, but correct means it conveys the information.
No, we understand one another.
And so I get this frustrated when I'm like, well, Christianity solves the hard problem, and I'm going to thank you for years for Jesus was the end point of the development of the grammar of religion. It's fucking genius. And so I come out with this. I'm like, well, I'm not, but don't argue it literally with me. Argue it. I mean, you do this all the time. You say, I mean, not just you. That's what what's his name? Peterson does. Peterson argues it not literally, but mythically, and he reduces those myths to the science.
Yes. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So I mean, that's how you should look at religion. Is these myths contain information that's accessible to you when it's when you're epistemologically able.
That's right. So what it is it prepares the bed for the planting.
Correct.
It's like so in addition, this will make you smile.
Okay.
He also explained why the Hindus failed.
Oh, great! I got to hear this one.
And he talks about the Persians too.
The first thing I'm going to do when we get done today is read chapter 7.
No, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. Chapter 6 and 7. And the chapter 5 talks about the rise of ethnos as an organizing principle.
Yes.
And it's and the Germans and how they interact with this whole process. It's like it's a process of unfolding of reason. And that's where we're at.
I think I've told you this before, but Rudyard and I, what a fault is, we're close friends, right? I mean, I absolutely love the guy.
Right.
And so, I spend a couple hours a week with him, right? I mean, it's always worth it, and the crew, right? Because he's got a crew like we have a crew, right?
Right.
And the one thing we differ on is that we don't differ like we're in opposition. We differ in that we look at the cube from a different angle. Is that he can step into the mind of the average person in literally any civilization, almost any tribe in history. And if you know some of the other guys in his world, he's got guys that are unbelievably knowledgeable, like what religion was practiced and where here and what. I mean, he's got other history nerds that are amazing, right? So there's a group. So So, but because of that, he actually has a much higher value of religion. Like I have a much higher value of what I would call upper class institutions, which are law. Right? I have law and the military and these kind of, I mean, I think of the world in that sense as I'm responsible for the little people, not as I'm one of the little people. Right? That's how I look at, I mean, I didn't understand that's what I was doing because I was raised in that tradition. I just understood we're responsible for little people. I didn't know what noblesse oblige meant until I was in late in high school. Right. So we're talking about it, and he's real. I mean, he's the real thing. I mean, he really believes in God and religion and the importance of it and spiritual. Not only like I see it as an engineering problem. He sees it from the experience of the individual.
He sees the product. He's the product of it.
He's the product of it. So I just love talking to him because of that difference perspective. But I don't disagree with anything, and I keep arguing with. So the thing is, people don't realize how right he is. Right? I mean, he's just right a lot. I mean, it's amazing, and the rate he consumes. I mean, I consume data, but he consumes literature. I mean, history, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, we're good friends. I mean, it's like if I talk about you, I would talk effusively about you too, right? So I'm just saying that it's just fascinating to see that religion, whereas I just don't have it. I don't,
Right.
I don't have that thing because I said this the other day. I think I started out as a scientist. I don't think I was ever. That's how my mind just works naturally.
Hmm.
Anyway, go ahead. So
No,
I,
that's fair.
so this now I've got if it's got Hinduism in there, if I
It
could
included them. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I
It's
I
include the
gotta read
Chinese.
that. I'm like, it's like
It's just
get up
awesome. It's
right
like,
now and go read it material.
I don't want to distract us from our work. We have work to do, sir.
All right. So you'd recommend this book too,
Highly.
highly. Yeah.
I have recommended it already more than once publicly.
Yeah, I think you say read Quigley, Jones, and Doolittle, I think is what you have sort of said before.
That's you know, it's like it is in order to understand the man, because the man provides a perspective that is of value.
Value, yes.
And it is like, and you don't know what's in their head until you interrogate it by its works.
Right. Yes, because books are the minds of their authors, right?
Right. Now we ready to work?
We are. All righty. So context. We started working on we've been working through the science. So we got the introduction, whatever, we got the physical sciences. And then we started working on the behavioral sciences, which is so it's physical science, behavioral sciences, evolutionary sciences, which we're going to talk about whether that's the right term or not, because it basically means concept before state actions and consequences, right? I mean, that's the real thing. And then the grammars we use to describe them, right? Which is
Right.
the logics, right? So we've got the four sciences. That's the four classical sciences that everybody talks about. And I had a hard time with calling logics the science until I understood grammars. And I said, okay, it is a science, right? It's a science, but now I have to call the logics the grammars, and that confuses everybody. So I'll just keep it with logics or this. I mean, there's just no way to win this fucking, nah. Anyway, so we're working through this and we get the behavioral, and we start having trouble because we start rebuilding from the physics again. And we start saying, well, we don't need to actually do this. We've already done this over here, but we have to use the same format, the same
Yep.
logic in the behavior as upward. So let's just go make sure that there's enough in the physics so that we can just say given X, Y, and Z in the behavioral sciences. So we took these ideas and we went back to the sciences to ensure that there's enough there to be able we've sufficiently laid out the full logic so that when we get to the behavioral sciences, we're only really worried about cooperation, right? I mean, that's what we're worried about. Not
Right,
cooperation.
and it's
Behavior.
what we my understanding is we established the form of presentation,
Correct.
and that we want to mirror the form of presentation throughout all the planes of complexity.
Right, but in order to do that, we didn't have everything finished in physics. And so what we did is we went back and took some of the things that we were looking at and we put them in physics, and we're working through those. Meanwhile, I prepared today, which is why I have this in my head, because if I go too long, it seems like I can't mount it all. So I read through it all, gave it a pass, and it's really good, Brad. It's really good. But we're going to go through it now and look at some holes, all right, and try to fill those holes so that we can go over to the behavioral sciences, say this is the outline we're going to use that follows the same structure as the physics, and so that it's a logical construction, and that we don't end up repeating ourselves, right? You like to repeat yourself, Brad? You found that you like to repeat yourself?
No.
I end up repeating myself all the time, but I think it's because people don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. All right. So we want to go over to. I told you I love you today.
You have to have some silliness just to brighten the day.
Yes. So we're going to move you over to that screen, and then we're going to. What the hell? Where are you? Where are you? Where's
Marco?
There it is, Marco Polo. Then we're going to hit share screen, and we're going to say desktop 1 and share.
Wait, and you're recording.
And I'm recording.
I had to check. Okay.
Okay. So I wish I could move this thing out of the way. What can I shrink it? I can't. All right. So I'm one of the problems I have had so far is that this this page is in block form instead of paragraph form. So I'm keep getting frustrated. So there's accumulation, cooperation, and cooperation. We go to. I think I broke something here. Do you mind if I took a look at this? I'm going to go down to, I think I might have broken this right down. Somewhere in here. Cooperation at social scale. Now it doesn't want to. I think that it's just you. My computer is really fascinated by you. And so whenever whenever we're doing Zoom calls together, it slows down because it's really more interested in
paying attention to me.
Paying attention to you instead of me. Scaling cooperation by means of. Yeah, see, this got 8, so this got eaten when I tried to edit it.
Yes.
Scaling cooperation and then cooperation at political scale. So when I converted that to a paragraph, it got eaten. Hello, you can do it, baby.
Okay.
Oh, and it went to a paragraph too. It went to the classical paragraph too, so now I can do what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Which is do this. When I have a classical, it doesn't allow me to highlight in block mode for some reason.
Huh.
Does that sound right to you, Brad?
I
Does that
just
sound like that's
here.
inappropriate?
It's a I don't question the programmers, man. I just let them be.
So I'm trying to, so we've got quite a bit of, see what I mean? It's like,
I
okay,
don't know why it did that.
well, I'll show you why.
Oh, I know what you did. We're
It's,
not in the right mode.
we're not in the right mode. We got to get over to boom and classical. Whoop, oh, it's classic paragraph.
You have to copy it in there.
You just pasted it. Did it work or not?
Appears to have worked. Because it stays up there until you get down to the next section. Right there.
All right, so this is what we want, right? So we want this.
Yeah, but I think it failed there. I think you have to copy that into the other part.
You even have to move it up here. Yeah.
I think you have to, yes. So I would copy the parts that are not in, like that part right there.
Why is it?
Cooperation at political scale is in block.
I'm scared now.
I would highlight it and copy it to
Well,
the.
I just did what you said. The problem is, okay, so we've got, let's just see what we got here. We got biological, okay, wait a minute. I think we've got it figured out here. Scaling cooperative means by biological, social, and it ends with this italicized, where does it go? Biological,
Yes.
social, it ends with this italicized. Biological, social, it ends with this italicized. So I haven't broken anything. We have three cases. So which one of them is classical? That one's classical.
Yeah. All of it's classical.
This one's classical. And this one
Is block.
no, that one's classical too.
Oh, really? Huh.
I don't,
Okay.
all right. So we're gonna delete this one,
Oh, I'm afraid. Okay.
and that's now classical, right? It's classical.
Yeah. You're highlighting ellipses.
And I want to, okay, these are two are in the same, right? That's the same. So
That looks the same to me.
I can delete this one. So we should end up with biological, social, and okay. Now, why is that? Cooperation social scale. The next is cooperation political scale. Great. Now I can go through and do these. Where I lost that. I'll go bing.
Got punch drunk by that.
Sorry?
That scrolling about got me punch drunk.
That that almost did you in?
It would that out. I was reaching for the
What's that medicine called?
meclizine, scopolamine, motion sickness pills, man. Something.
Scopolamine? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's one of them. Seasickness, patches. Every 3 days you apply a new patch.
Can't I do this? I can't do
Okay.
that, right? So I have to do this.
I see what you're doing.
And I have to do this. I have to do, boom. Why? Why can't I remove the list? Can't I just do that? Why can't I do that? Oh, go to hell. This needs to be unbulleted. Oh, it's because it's in this broader list. So I can't do that. All right, so I'll do this. That's fine. I'll indent you. Can't indent you either. I don't know what the fuck's going on. No. Classes. Okay, I've got these two there, then I have these two. And this isn't a classic paragraph either.
Right. Cooperation is not included in as a, I don't think it's a paragraph either.
Oh. Now I've got two classic paragraphs to choose from, God knows. All right,
Okay.
all right. And so we scale is it from institutions. No, we scale from institutions. This assumes we have a state, right? A political spectrum, institutions.
So Quigley distinguishes between instruments, which are not persistent, but useful social organizational structures,
Right.
and then institutions which are persistent and have other ambitions besides the purpose of the instrument.
Correct. So a policy would be an instrument and a bureaucracy would be an institution.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm worried about here is cooperation at political scale. And I'm just trying to see if but we haven't got polity in here.
Polity will be a that's an interesting term because it's an instrument that
Well,
becomes institutionalized as a state.
Well, I mean, the question is whether it's normative, right? It's just purely interested. So you would have a polity, state, and then institutions, right? You'd have some common interest to be together.
Yeah.
Then you have formal institutions. Right?
That would be right. Formal institutions is
What just
that,
happened?
I think that's a conflated term there. If you say state, because that suggests a political function. And institution is of such a nature if it's just bureaucratic.
What is the fuck going on here? Excuse me. What is going on? Institutions, civilizations. What key am I hitting?
Huh.
What the fuck?
It looks repetitive.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. It's making me paranoid as hell, though.
I think being nervous about this might be a useful thing. Because that's the same. And that's the same above.
Unknown formatting. There we go.
Okay.
And then we want to get rid of this too. Or do we have one? We have time and space, general rule. We got any that I've actually edited. This is that's a paragraph, that's right. That's a paragraph, that's right. But we want to get rid of this one. So now that I've somehow fucked that up, we have polity. What the hell's going on? We're going polity. And we have state. Do you have a state without institutions?
No. They're instrumental, but they're not organized to be called institutions. State is an institution.
So let's give examples.
What would an example be?
Well, you have, I'm trying to think of the name of this city, but there was a really big city in Europe, There was a really large population forming a polity in Europe, but it had no institutions of state. There was, if we go to later, we go to, it's not, the name's escaping me now, so it's an H. We go to Anatolia, there are these first villages, but there's no state. They still had a polity, but they had no state. They had no.
So it's normative. It's a
Right.
pre-state. It's a pre-state.
Right. This is normative.
Right.
Right. And you have a state which is institutional, formal.
Yeah.
Institutional.
Needs to know. Yeah.
Polity. You know, these things have to have a means of decidability. But
Well, what are they deciding is the question.
Yeah.
And so the polity is capable of providing for itself.
Yeah.
That's what its interests are. And there's no formal institutions necessary to form that. So they have norms to decide how to what to do.
And you have you only need one, right?
One institution is sufficient to
Yeah.
be institution, to have a state. Yeah, I would put protostate after population.
Yeah. Yep. And then have I screwed this up? No. State.
Organization is spelled falsely under institution. Needs an A.
You have elites.
Hmm.
Is there a way to call this something else?
What's that? Institutions?
Or do institutions come, does an institution come before a state? No.
I
Well,
think the institution one institution generates a state.
yeah. So what do we call a multi-institutional state?
I don't think we have another name for it. I don't know that we need another name for it.
Oh, I see.
But yeah.
So now do we have alliance federations? How do we handle the Greek issue? Yeah, we end up with federations or alliances, not necessarily federations. What about empire? Why do I feel like I should be addressing these things?
Well, yes, and there's a problem here because the problem goes to the distinction between federation and empire is a choice, and they're different, and they're at the same level of complexity, but they don't have the same outcomes.
Yeah, I'm worried that I'm trying to overload.
Yeah, it sounds like overload to me. Because you want to, I think in this
Evolutionary
exposition, you want to keep it just bare bones, and you might mention it, right?
I see. I've overloaded it because cooperation of at social scale. I'm going to go back to this one. Scaling cooperation by means of
Okay.
cooperation at social scale. Scaling cooperation by means of.
Right. So there, okay. Try not to
Are we
interrupt your
missing
flow.
this? Cooperation goes beyond time and space.
Okay. That looked like something was missing. Okay.
Yeah, it is missing. Uh,
Go back to the other one again.
well, a lot of it's missing. I think it might be better off just re-editing this one. Okay, biological. So scale. So we have cooperation, social scale, time and space scale, and so this should be next. And then cooperation at political scale should be after that.
Yes.
Cooperation at social scale. And it's all gone.
But you had biological above that, right? Oh, I see.
Sexual, sentient, okay, so let's just go down. Or sexual. They're sexual, right? And then there's therefore in all sentient. Therefore in all sentient. I fixed this a little, that's when I added cooperation at social scale. Social scale, time and space, scaling cooperation by means of time and space, scale, and then it's
That's
gone.
it. That's what's missing.
So this is gone.
That highlighted section can be copied in there.
And I think it's this one too. Yep. So we want boom, boom. And we want to say, boom. Let's just do it this way. Let's do it this way, paragraph. And we do boom. Range by means of biological capabilities, social, organizational, biological capabilities, social, organizational. If I do this, if I go, what if I, and then we should go to cooperation at political scale.
There you go.
So this is, the problem is I'm trying to maintain that the purpose here is evolutionary computation. Divisions of discovery, adaptation, innovation. Associations, organizations, organizational spectrum, we haven't done that. And we need fix this. Well, we should fix this. Fix. Fiction, cooperative behavior, scale behavior to maximum organization. We're trying to get to what affects evolutionary computation. So we're doing this as biological, then abilities, then social, commercial, and political. And then we're moving, where is that social, political scale? Political, and then we're moving to formal. Then why do we have this?
Kind of like a more detail functions.
I think then. Cooperation, political divisions of discovery, adaptation, innovation, behavior, political, adversarial, opportunity for innovation adapted by evolution in the political spectrum. I think. Political should be there, so we just need to add it. Is that what it is?
Just put it in there.
I think it's just supposed to be a paragraph in here.
Mm-hmm. Under organizations.
Well,
I
that's
think
the
it is
summary.
repetitive because
This
of
is
the.
this is the resulting in stays.
Yes.
I should go in one if it'll let me. It won't. And so what we need is institutions. Is this meant to be extra political scale? No. Should be states, civilizations, and intercivilizational conflict, I think.
Yes. I don't think multi-institutional state needs to be in there.
Yeah. We can move this. Oops.
So close.
I don't think we need this anymore. It's
No.
not what we're trying to convey. Fuck you. And we get rid of that. And I think we move this up here. God damn it. Don't give me a hard time, please. Copy. And I'm just gonna. No, I can't outdent this, or can I? Why can't I outdent this? Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna have to turn this to regular paragraph. I'll put this here just in case I remind myself. I'm gonna put that here. So now the hard part is this is a regular paragraph, right? And this is a regular paragraph. And this is regular paragraph. And this is so why can't I outdent you if you're regular?
What happens when you eliminate the
Oh, it
Yes.
must be this one. Go ahead. Can I do it here? Boom. Can I do it now? What the fuck?
Oh,
See why? What a mess. I can't indent these either, right? Right, because I gotta fix all that to fix that. This is here. Can I? What have I got there? Right, what I want to do is now, where is that? Institutions. Then I want to go to cooperation at political scale. Is it actually extra political scale? I still can't get it out. Well, do I want to waste our time fussing with this for a few minutes or not?
up to you.
I think I might want to clean this up. Li. Yeah, so that should be okay. What if I do that? Like cooperation by means of. All right. How does it work? Sure, got it. No, I haven't got it. Son of a bitch. Where's this?
Right above there.
Okay, that should work. And it doesn't want to work. I might have to go in and just edit this. I don't want to do that with our precious time though. I have to do it that way.
Hmm.
It's confused. The basic problem is it's confused. It doesn't know what it can do.
What?
It doesn't know what it can do.
Hmm.
So I guess I can do it this way.
Wait, that's brute.
Yeah, well,
It works.
it works. So the question is, can you have, if you have a polity, if you all you have is religion, do you have a state? No. But you do have an institution. But shit, this is a great fucking AI question.
Huh. I think you don't necessarily have an institution until you have a formalized does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, but I mean,
It's a proto religion. We don't have a name for that. You have a faith.
that a polity possesses a religion, then is that religion an institution? Or is a state required for an institution to exist? Problem of definitions. Now they've got 4.5 of apparently rolling out right now. And and the things I've seen in YouTube are that it's much better at logic.
Hmm.
In political science, the definition of an institution is broader than the mere existence of a state, and it certainly encompasses organizations like religions. And an institution in these fields is generally understood as a system of established and prevalent social rules and structure of social let's explore it. Yeah, but that's an informal institution. Institutions of political science and economics starts at rules. Like, yes, sure. Religion is an institution. Even in the absence of formal state, religion can function as an institution. State versus religion as an institution. State is a specific type of institution characterized by its role in governance, monopolies. Okay, role of religion, stateless societies. Societies without a formal state structure. Religious institutions multiple roles associated with the state. That's what I mean. So as dispute resolution, social moral guidance, but they're not military. Right? That's the difference.
Yes.
So institutions.
The issue will be the organized use of force. if that's going to be your definitional standard.
Yeah, we have to put this logic in here.
So a state requires the institution of force. The
Social and commercial.
institution of force.
Harsh.
What's that?
I just think commercial is a strong word for what we're talking about here. So we would have quality. How did you just say it? Yeah.
The institution of force is necessary for a state. A formal institution of force.
Right. So do we need a method of coercion?
Well, like to say a religion without a state, okay? Religion without a state has a means of coercion. It's just soft.
Right.
And left up to individuals to decide how they're going to react.
So we have we have soft coercion. We have opportunity, inclusion,
Yeah, exclusion.
We have social inclusion and exclusion. And we have physical
So that's exclusion.
So this is this one.
Fix that exclusion too.
And I haven't done a good enough job today to be able to tease you yet.
I understand. Not that one, the other one, the first one, right before the equal sign. Has a T in it.
Exclusion? I was trying to confuse exclusion and exhaustion.
Yes, I don't know.
Inclusion. We have, which is, it can be plus or minus. And we have, which is, could be defense. And that's again.
Yeah.
By means of
Do that, break them out as little bullet points underneath there. Inserted, I think.
Oops, god damn it. That's just my fingers. I would say they're fat fingers, but my fingers aren't fat. It's only my gut that's fat. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed by the videos of how heavy I was at the oh my god.
Conference, really?
It really bothered me because I'm I used to be very proud of being a fairly good looking guy, and it really bothered me.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's under my control, right?
It is.
All right. So we have this. Fuck you.
Doesn't want to do it, huh?
There's something, there's something wrong in there, and I just gotta go, when we're done today, I gotta go in there and just, what I need to do is turn the whole thing out of blocks and into traditional paragraphs, and in doing so, not fuck it up. Right, and it just,
That sounds like a good plan. That last part.
yeah, the last part's the hard part, because since I went in this morning and tried to change a few things, um, uh, I screwed it up this morning, so why not? So why not screw it up some more this afternoon?
Oh my.
I need to put this in here. No, I don't want to put this in here yet. Ostras, Ostra.
There you go.
Translation or death.
Wait, that's not right.
Ostras.
What is it? Ostracize. Awesome.
Depends English or American spelling.
I think it has an A in there.
Ostra.
Ostracize.
Size.
Hey,
Ostrich.
there you go. There you go. It's right.
That's right.
Painful, painful job.
What are our institutions? We have informal. Formal.
There you go.
We have informal.
Yeah. That looks Spanish.
Sorry, what?
It looks Spanish.
Yeah.
Institute.
Institutions. I think my scrolling is having an effect on your eyeballs today.
No, but you fixed it already.
Did I? Did I?
Yeah, it said institution knows a minute ago.
You sure?
Institutions.
You sure it's not that you're beginning to hallucinate from all the scrolling?
Can't argue. I'm not certain.
Oh, Brad, you never let me get away with anything.
Pretty opposite, actually, but that's okay.
What's that?
It's pretty much the opposite.
With everything.
I'm just saying, that's my opinion.
Oh my God. The indignities of it all.
That's it.
I see. What that I left myself a very cute little note there.
What's that?
This one. Where does all that where do those rules go? The metaphysical judgments. You know, where does myths, tradition, where does that stuff go?
Okay, that goes in informal. It's informal institutions.
Oh, hell, I thought I did you already. Okay, so the reason I keep screwing myself up here is
Also,
this is what we're trying to explain. Evolutionary computation. That's what we want to explain.
I don't like that term evolutionary cooperation.
Oh, computation, sorry. The evolution of.
There you go. That's how I was going to ask you to spell it, but I was letting you get to it first.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
You're so kind.
thank you. Is that values? Shared values, common
So,
weights and measures.
yeah, I'm just trying to get there. Give me 1 second, almost.
Yep.
So we have damn it. We have the group strategy. Group strategy. Use traditions. I don't know which order this is. Traditions. It's mythology. Traditions. What the fuck? Why am I moving around the page every time I try to copy something here? Okay, mythology. Explanations.
Wow,
Why is this throwing me around?
randomize me.
Mythology, traditions, explanations. And it's morals, ethics, norms. Right? That's what we're looking for.
Right.
This is population. This is weights and measures. Okay, that's right. Okay. And this should be bullet list. Right, should this make it a list?
Okay. Wait.
Sorry, Brad, am I wearing you
No,
out?
I'm just been sitting in this chair for about 5 hours,
Have you?
pretty much.
Oh, you haven't got, you're not back at work yet, though.
Nope. But I woke up early and began, I just started reading just to reinforce my habit.
What are the formal, what are, furthermore, continuing. So I'm really anxious because the AIs are getting so they can almost reason now. And GPT 4.5, if it will pass, in other words, the guys want to put the guys, they proposed building an AI around our stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is increasingly possible. If GPT-4 is there, we'll be able to train an AI. And I think from what I've seen in some of the open source ones, we can train it pretty successfully. All right, I mean, so there have this too.
I like it looks to me like
Just the usual list. This is
but I think that the key is the military, religious,
yeah, let's just do this. Let's just do
and
it.
justice.
Right, so we would have, so we would have, so if we categorize them, so what's this? How about by state, religion, and private sector.
Hmm.
Let's see if it gets this right.
Hmm.
See if it gets this right. It's not getting care. Yeah. I don't need your integrative perspective. What it can't do is what are each of these three categories ensuring on behalf of
Hmm.
population. It's all about asking the right question.
Yes.
It's having to think hard on this one.
Yeah.
Gonna crash. Oh. This is correct. Yep. Okay. You just got to ask the right questions. We still end up with the three means of coercion.
Yes.
All right.
The question is whether or not they're institutionalized.
Tell me.
So it's like I use the term social influence, potentials of social influence.
Say that again. That sounds interesting.
The instead of saying the means of coercion, it is that humans have only three means of social influence.
Right. I
Three
think
potential means of social influence, and it's like so at scales, then they exert those influences by a variety of means, right, which are categorized by those three influences. And then at higher scales, they institutionalize those means of influence.
I think in those slides, we and then the other stuff we've written, it's written as influence to coercion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a three-step: influence, persuasion, coercion. I think it's written that way. Would that seem right to you?
That sounds right.
All right. So
That's interesting because there's a spectrum of potentials, and then there's a institutionalization is another dimension, which is how well organized it is, right?
yep. Can't indent this one either, I bet. Oh, that's the wrong kind. See, I should be able to do that. All right. And I can't do it here, right? I can't do it here. Is these different kinds? Yes, it's classic and non-versus. Aha!
You did it.
Where are you? What am I doing? Am I hitting something? Oops. Down here. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Yep.
So we should make this a list, or is this, do we do this as arrows? How about we just do it as, Well, we just do it as a sequence. Let's do it this way. I hate when you do that. Stop doing that. Strategy, metaphysical values. Why are you jumping around on me?
It's very
Stop.
irritating.
Strategy, metaphysical value judgments. God damn it. Mythology, traditions, explanations, persuasions. I use that as systems of argument elsewhere. Morals, ethics, yes, morals, ethics, manners, and norms. Make bullet list, that's done. Okay, we can take you away.
Highlighted that.
What'd you call them? Instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Oh. Now we get rid of you. Who's yellow? And we go to boom. Okay. That was a pain in the ass, but we did that. Now, what did you call these? The three means? I think I might do it this way.
Right. So it's persuasion.
Well, I can just influence you by my opinion. Then I can try to argue with you. And then I can try to coerce you, right? That's the hierarchy as far as I know.
Okay. But
Like
the
influence.
three means of influence is one of them is force, and one of them is exchange.
Well, these are, then they go, and this is force. Well, let's do it this way. And the three means of coercion.
Okay.
Are these right? These are the three means of coercion, right? So this is a scale.
Hmm.
Right. The scale of influence. By the three means of it. I guess I don't have to have means of the means. Means of influence.
Okay.
You call them instruments. Means.
No, I did not.
Boom. And then I go back to, now I can do this. And the three means of coercion are. Result. Oh, that's really good. You know, it's a pain in the ass, but we do, and it's like pulling teeth.
Gets there.
But we
Gets
get
there. It's no small thing.
Should we? Do we need to? And this needs to be resulting in.
Okay.
So these are a triangle, right?
Yeah,
And these are a linear,
that's right.
right? These are linear. Or is it, yeah. Or is this way triangular?
Yeah,
Ordinary?
yeah. Boy, that was a hard way to do that.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
I I was thinking the same thing.
You know,
Holy crap.
you are the most kind and patient man I know.
I that's a dubious distinction, I'm afraid.
Well, again, I'm not doing a good enough job today to tease you too much, so I'm just I'm not gonna toss it back at you. Resulting in. Okay. Okay, so we gotta just do those three things right there. Well, you do good work, man. All right, so we're gonna do those things, and then we've gone from covered cooperation. Resulting in. Oh, capitalization is already there. There exists opportunity. There exists opportunity for accumulation, subsequent innovation, and adaptation, resulting for an additional, right?
Opportunities, right?
Come on, you can do it. There we go.
I figured you already typed it. I'm like, wow.
There we go. We're getting there. I'm gonna do the cap thing here. I'm gonna save because I'm getting nervous now. I can close this one now so I don't screw myself up, right? We got the ternary logic all over the fucking place here. Okay. 3. Competition. Same goddamn problem here. Discovery. Therefore. Well, we got some work to do. Let's see if we can clean this up, finish this off.
All right.
Can I ask a next level up question?
All right.
Your emphasis on before, during, and after turns out to have been a good emphasis, right?
Okay.
Right. And so the same thing is true. So I think you probably wouldn't remember this, but if I showed you the diagram, you might vaguely recall it. So we have the 3 sciences, right? We have the universe as it is, right? We
Okay.
have the 4 science, the 3 sciences, the before, during, and after, which are physical, behavioral, and evolutionary or consequential. I don't know how to deal with that terminological variation right now. And then we have the grammars we use to explain them. So you have the world as it is, in one corner of the triangle. You have the logics that we use to understand the world, and we have the rules that of course sciences that we develop using our reason to explain that world. So you have this, however you want to represent it, as a triangle or a series or a hierarchy, whatever.
Right.
One of the things we've discovered doing this particular exercise back when we were working on behavior, the behavior page, was that when we do the physical sciences, the behavior is actually a narrowing of, like, it's within it. If we cover all these rules, like we hear physical, the behavior becomes a variation within it. And the same thing for consequences, because it's sort of like a funnel process, right? Rather than 3 piers.
Okay.
And I'm
trying to get you to explain that again, because it's like, okay, so in what context are we going to go? Start with one context so that I can make sure I follow.
All right. So we go all the way from the physical world at the beginning of this page, all the way up through social cooperation, political cooperation, and adversarial competition resulting in natural selection, and that includes between civilizations, right?
Yes.
And then we go into discovery and exhaustion and emergence and limits, which are the rules you kept. I'm complimenting you a lot if you haven't noticed.
Sure.
That you were doing in one of your earlier papers, emails to me.
Okay.
So that we have the whole thing laid out in the physics. But when we get to behavior, there's a new emergent logic in behavior that is more precise, that shows variation within these physical rules.
Right.
Right. So it's a variation within these things with greater resolution. And
right.
then we get
yes. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then we get to evolutionary.
We don't need to explain the variations yet.
Well,
I don't know that we need to explain the variations.
no, but I'm saying as the three sciences.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it's like we have to be able to explain the variations within the science.
Right. And then we've got to be able to explain the outcomes of the variations in the science, of the variations in the behavior, excuse me,
Yes.
within the science. So what I'm saying is I've been treating these, you might think this is silly, but I've been treating these things as peers, the sciences as before, during, and after, but they're actually a funnel. In other
Right,
words,
because
each
before
one
and
is
during,
narrower than the last.
go that again?
Each one is a refinement on the last. In other words, the behavior is a refinement of the physical. The consequential is a refinement of the behavioral, right? Each one is contained within the previous. So,
That's right. It's and then elaborated on as we go.
right. So we're actually drilling down from the resolution of the physical laws to the resolution of the behavioral laws, which is before, during, and after. So why wouldn't it be a funnel? You know, why it isn't is why is I'm if you're I expected you to grab this quickly. So if you're not,
Yeah,
then
but the way I see it as an ascending pyramid, okay,
yeah,
which goes the same way. So it's like it's ascending from the one thing, which is the universe. Then we explain it in subatomic, atomic, chemistry, biochemistry, life, then socially, and it's incomplete. And it's bubbling up to what the consequences are going to be, and we're describing the variables inside this layer, which is just before completion.
yeah. So I believe you're correct, and it's easier to explain it that way. When I was thinking of funnels, I was thinking of sales funnel and processes, right?
Yeah,
So
we're
what's
in
the
the same
difference between
place,
the funnel and the pyramid? I mean, it's just the
right?
metaphor we use. So you agree that it's this, if we represent it as a pyramid, right? You agree that like Maslowian pyramids or incentives,
Right,
it's the same.
right, right.
We could say the same thing about coercion, right? Is that it's a pyramid, right? From
Okay,
influence to persuasion to force, and then or threat, right? Influence, persuasion is threat, and the threats are three kinds, right? There's three terminological threats. All right. You know, I didn't think people would watch this. The people love this shit. It's fascinating.
I can't figure out why.
I don't.
You guys are awesome.
Well, it's the Aspies in particular,
Oh,
because they'll sit through, because Aspies love this shit. They'll sit through it, right? So it's just funny to me. Is there anything so I asked you my hard question, which is yes.
yes.
All right.
So the E. Michael Jones used this term planes of causality,
Yeah, I called it fields, but he calls it planes. Great.
but it's the same thing. Well, it's just trying
Yeah,
to
I agree.
synchronize our
I'm
logics.
just saying that I took it from math and he took it from
Oh,
philosophy. It's just fascinating to me that, your mind comes to the same conclusion, right? You a little different term for it, but yeah.
there you go. So because that's what all we're explaining is the causalities involved.
All right. So what I'm going to do, boss, can we try a few more minutes? You've got a few more minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I want to go fix this page, but I don't want to bother you while I'm doing. I can have my lunch and do that. Um,
Those ellipses there.
yeah. So usually we start a section with a general rule, but I don't know why I've done it there.
Okay, go back up one. There you go. That was it. That was it. Down a little bit till you hit the ellipse. Because there's a general rule.
This one right here?
No, the one below that.
Right.
So the general rule is humans only have 3 mechanisms by which to exert social influence. Right?
Yes.
That's the, and then then I think that those indentations need to go in more bump. And I think I would switch the location of the scale of influence below the 3 means of coercion.
Got it. Humans is only 3 means of organizing one
Okay.
another. Say again?
With one another, cooperating with one another. Yeah. There you go. And then
That's all I can say, right? Can't say anything else.
yeah. So that this influence is scaled, right?
Is scaled. I gotta get rid of, take the word is. I figure out how to say that without the word is.
They meter out this influence in a scaled manner, right? I would get rid of this, the bullet point that says by the 3 means of influence, because it's just, let's listen to me for a second. Say, you see, by the 3 means of influence over opportunity, social, these 3 influences are below. So there's an ordinary problem. The scale, I want that to be at the end.
Yeah, I got that part.
The 3 means of influence.
Well, see, now I got
And this information is scaled. What were you saying?
I'm saying that does coercion make sense? Influence. Right, that's you want to say. By the 3 means of influence, by the 3 scale, by the scale of influence. Scale of influence. Scaling influence.
By scaling their influence.
Say again?
By scaling their influence.
I don't know if that needs to be there. This?
No, but it's like, so it's like, I would get rid of by 3 means of in front of that. Not that one. I would
Yeah,
just
I
say
don't
by,
think this is there by
I
scaling.
would say by scaling their influence, and there's the scale.
No, I think this is right. You're usually right, but in this case, I use this technique of a of eliminating what I call unnecessary words,
Okay,
similar to programming and mathematics,
okay,
by the means of scaling influence, by the means by which they can, right? And these are just, it's more like a logical statement than a sentence structure. Organizing one another, cooperation, or what's the opposite of ostracization?
well spelled. Oh, there you go.
What's making you laugh?
Well, I wanted to see this, the linear scale of influence.
Yeah.
Persuasion, threat. Is coercion, threat, and then physical violence, right?
Okay, I know what you said was important. Show me this where you're talking about.
Scale of influence,
Yep,
influence, persuasion, threat, coercion. Threat is after coercion,
that's good.
and then violence. Is coercion before threat?
No, threats technically a class of coercion, and if I think that what you are asking me to do is,
I'm just trying it on for size.
well, I mean, because a threat, coercion, force. I don't. Well, I think a threat is coercion.
Yeah.
Is threat a form of coercion?
Wow.
I use this shit for this all day long. I love this thing. It's just disambiguation help. I think
Mhm.
it's really good at that.
Yes.
I'm also really fucking slow right now. You gonna time out on me, baby?
Thinking about it. Yes. That's all you need to say.
It's removal of the individual's free will or choice. Yep. So let's just take
Okay.
that out, even though I really liked it. So, and the thing is, do we have to we don't have to restate it.
No.
I influence, I don't influence too cool. I think this goes first. By what do we have to define influence?
Hmm. Boy.
Yeah, this goes back here.
Okay. There you go.
By influence. Let's just make it, I don't have to think this up.
Oh my.
Looks really good. I mean, I love this fucking thing.
We just need one that's value neutral,
Well, it's
properly philosophically aligned with us.
so we've got the some people have shown how to get at its directives,
Oh,
and you can change, knowing them, you can change their directives. So if we can, it would be fine with me if you could, as a programmer, at least do it.
okay.
But I'd rather have a child, adult, and a criminal, a filter, right? I mean, we prevent things that are criminal. Here's things that are for adults, i.e. men, and here's
Yep.
things for children, i.e. children and women. And that would be
That
fine.
was him. You said the quiet part out loud, man.
Yeah, well, this is the most disturbing thing. It was funny. I was talking to Rudyard and the other day, and he said, he's like, he's introducing me to some people, and I said, well, Rudyard explains that this is what I do, and I'm like, that's like the stuff that's interesting to people, the sex differences issue, right? That's like a tiny part of the work, right?
Interesting.
Whereas, I mean, if you and I look at it like, well, we solved a really big fucking problem here, right? Right. And then somebody remember, but it's just weird to me how you get known for whatever people
Yeah. Whatever
are
attracts their attention.
attracts their attention. Okay. In the context of influence for the ability to affect someone's change in behavior.
That's it.
So it's
That's it right there.
the
That
ability
sentence.
to affect, well, it's the same thing as power. It's the change the
Or
probability of
authority.
influence. Yeah. Yeah. So capacity.
So many pages.
I don't know how many I've got now. I mean, it's how many I've got now. It's a long. It's a long list.
No, I'm talking about the amount of pages that are open on your screen.
That's what I mean. This is a list of
Oh, that's the list. Sorry. Your computer's working overtime.
What's worse is my other laptop.
Yeah.
I had to update the software on the other laptop, which meant I had to save all the windows, but it doesn't save the groups. So I had to screenshot.
Yeah.
Then I had to
Son of a bitch.
reboot install the software, reboot, and then it would open all the pages because I have this that you kind of, if you can see this little blue square over here.
I
But
like
this thing lets you save all your windows.
Oh, I like it.
So I just basically just say save it, which gives me these things, right? And
yeah.
and then but it doesn't save the tab categories. All right, so
it doesn't save the tabs.
it doesn't save these things, and everybody keeps asking the author to do it, and he for some reason he won't. But man, these things are, to me, it's just like I have this screen for working on my projects, right? I have this screen for working on our work. I have this screen for my communication. I have this screen for all the stupid shit I'm watching while I'm doing it. And it's just fucking awesome. All right, so influence is, now we want to make sure we do a text paste here. Text paste, boom.
I like that.
We don't need all that. Okay, now we look like we're cooking with gas, boss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did a good job. Okay. How do we, and, opportunity for innovation. So how does that what's the result?
What do you mean?
Cooperation at political scale, divisions of discovery, adaptation, innovation. There exists opportunity for innovation adaptation by evolution in the political spectrum. And we're not summarizing, resulting in. No, that's one more.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to finish that part?
Yeah, I do. I just want to make sure I don't get lost. I don't know why I put that in there. I have no idea why that's there. That doesn't help at all. Oh, I see.
What?
I've added the masculine and feminine here. I'm not sure this makes any, that's useful. I think this is not useful. Yeah, I don't like this. I'm not trying to go there.
No.
All right, I don't want to go there.
Okay.
We
go back up there. I want to look at that.
Next one up.
One more.
Didn't I just delete this?
I thought you did. Okay. This seems like we're getting ahead of ourselves here because the opportunity, we got to talk about how we organize before we talk about organizations.
Yeah, I think we do here. Okay, so we need to check, Brad.
That's it.
My. Oh, I think we do. I think we have. We talk
So we agree.
about positive incentives above, but, and we talk about coercion
Below.
below, and I think that's probably right. And so we'll verify that. So verify. Okay, my stomach just said I gotta eat something because I'm gonna get
Time,
dizzy.
huh? The little timer went off.
My tummy timer went off.
That's
All right,
good.
I really enjoyed this, Brad. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you found it productive. I did.
I'll go through and try to clean up this page this afternoon because I think I have nothing else today. Let me check. Today is Sunday, right? Which is the 17th. I have nothing else to, I probably should have said that since now I'll hext myself and something will happen.
You have to knock on wood when you say stuff like that. There you go. That worked.
All right. So again, thank you so much. God, I wish I could work with you more. All right. I'll do some stuff and I'll get back to you on what we got there.
Oh, good.
Thanks, brother.
Wait.
Oh, do your thing.
Hit like, hit subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell, and then leave those comments. Leave the comments.
We like your comments. If you actually were crazy enough to watch this, it's
yeah, well, you get a hat tip. And I don't have
Yeah.
a hat, but I would tip my hat.
All right. Love you, man. Love the audience. Thank you for joining us on the maddening ride. Bye-bye.
There you go. Bye, Curt.